spoken to so many women who have faced seemingly insurmountable challenges in their life, in their personal life, in their business, and even in their careers. But two things stood out. Number one, they came out on top, and number two, they did it all while they were afraid. Guess what? These women are not an exclusive. They're around you and they're around me. My job through the Spotlight series is to bring the stories of these women closer to you. So stay tuned for another edition of the Spotlight series.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our Spotlight series, where we love to put the spotlight on amazing women such as my special guest in the house today. Just with one tagline that if she can do it, you can as well. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come to your place of work.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
And I'm sniffing out the amazingness going on here.
Awesome. That's the
different flavors of cake. I know you can't see, but this is cake heaven right here. Awesome. So just to step right into the questions, right? Can you just give us a little bit of history about this line of business? Why did you choose cake?
So it's just a funny story. I never saw myself being a baker, or I didn't think I would go into this business. I was pregnant with my son and I was craving cake.
Yeah.
And I would, I didn't think I could eat a whole cake, so I thought, okay, let me make cupcakes.
Okay.
And then I went online to look for recipes, and then I noticed that there was this whole community of cupcake blogs, and just cupcakes were the thing then. And I was like, wow, different flavors, different things. And I really got into baking, and it satisfied my craving, which I had with my pregnancy, but then also it sparked something new in me. It was just a way for me to be creative. I had a full-time job at the time. I was dealing with some family issues, and baking for me was just a way to just kind of therapy. It was like free therapy, really. I would be baking in the middle of the night and my husband was like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? But it was just peaceful, just the idea of creating something from scratch. I loved it. And then my sister just said to me, why don't you sell it? Start a business out of it. And I really, like I said, I had a job. I loved the job at the time. I wasn't thinking about leaving or anything. So she said, why don't you sell it? And I said, oh, you know what? There's this bag I've been trying to buy. Let me sell it, and then use the money to buy the bag. But then I never did buy the bag. I just kept saving the money, and it was like this business kept growing, and I just saw a future with it.
Wow.
And eventually I left the job, and this became my full-time thing.
Wow.
And it's been almost 10 years now.
Wow. Okay. There's something you said that stood out. Like, you just love the idea of starting something from scratch.
Yes.
Hence baking.
Right.
So before you even had that craving when you're pregnant, you never thought about baking as a business?
I didn't think about it as a business. It was, when I was a kid, I baked with my mom, but I never saw myself, if I look back, I never saw myself owning a bakery. It just wasn't something that was in my frame. It was my sister that sparked that idea within me that, this can be more than just you eating it and giving it for free at work and taking it to church for free. You should actually sell it and make it into a business. My sister is she's really business minded, and she's awesome at it. And she just sparked this idea within me, and I thought, let me do it for extra income. And the more I got into it, I liked the interaction with people. Companies started taking notice. So I was dealing with corporate entities, I was dealing with CNN, Coca-Cola, and it was like, it became more than just like a small thing. It started growing, and that's how the business came to be. It was just from a hobby turned to a business.
And how did you transition from your kitchen to CNN and Co? That's like a huge leap.
That
you
must
have done something right.
Right. So once I decided that it was going to be a business, I took it seriously. I looked at what it would take to be a legitimate business. Yes.
Right.
So you can't. First of all, the first person I actually sold the cupcake to was my sister's friend. So that I sold from my kitchen. But then once you now want to go out, and I decided I wanted to have a website, and I wanted to be a business, and I had to leave the kitchen. I had to rent a space. I had to be licensed. I had to have insurance. So I had to do the work to make it a business. So so if you're trying to do something like this from home, they've actually even the laws have changed to make it easier for people.
From
so
home.
honestly, if I could roll out of my bed and bake cupcakes and stuff, you can make it happen. You can have a 9 to 5 and have this type of business, because I mean, as long as you decide to do it the legitimate way, have them come and license you at home and all that, you can make it work. Yeah.
So when you started baking, since it was just something that you kind of like rolled into,
Right.
What else did you do to get better at your art?
So I took some classes. So the internet, the school of Google was and YouTube were my, that's where I started from. But then I started taking classes out there. I looked for decorating classes just to hone my craft a little bit. I took business seminars, with the city. Sometimes, depending on where you're located, sometimes they offer free business classes and things like that. So I did take advantage of that.
Do you think if you had not done that, you still have been able to bag clients such as CNN and Coke?
So, to be honest with you, that CNN was even before I took the classes.
Wow.
So they just stumbled on my website. So the important thing is to
But there was a website.
There was a website that looked really nice and really professional. Looked better than my, it made me appear as a legitimate business, and they saw that and they noticed it.
I'm glad that you're saying that you had a website, even if you were still trying to, quote unquote, get your feet, steady. Because most of us feel like we need to have all our ducks in a row before we put ourselves out there.
No, my website was something I did on my own. It was a 17. I always tell people this story. My website cost $17. It would have been $12, but I added $5 so that I wouldn't get spam. So it was something I created. It was, just my neighbor took pictures for me. She's a photographer. So if things that are essential to a great website, people love to see great pictures. So she came and took pictures outside my house of my cupcakes. I put together that website, and that's the website that I got business from. So like my first corporate client was Cox Communications, and then after that was CNN. So you start with what you have. I didn't have much to begin with, and I didn't have a lot of money to invest in this side business. Again, it wasn't something I didn't really know where it was going, so I didn't have a lot of money to invest in it.
So it's very possible for you to have a 9 to 5 and just, even if no matter how little or much the money is, just keep making progress towards that business.
Absolutely.
And always appear professional, even if you feel like you're a mess.
Absolutely, absolutely. My business appeared very professional. I had my hours listed on there. I had a phone dedicated to my business, because at the time I had my cell phone was my work phone, and I couldn't use that. I wanted to separate my work life from my business life, so I had a cell phone dedicated to this business. So when the phone rang, I got in my professional voice, Lennox Cupcakes, this is Marianne, how may I help you? Just, so that it would appear to be a professional business, and that's kind of what I gave up.
Okay, so you have a 9 to 5 and your business.
Yes.
How are you able to balance both? Plus your mom, your wife, I'm sure you have a billion responsibilities.
I had a lot going on, wife, mom, new mom, first time mom. I had my job, which I took really seriously. The worst thing in the world to me at the time was I never wanted my job to suffer. So I actually was doing more at my job just to make sure that there wasn't going to be a conflict. I didn't want a situation where someone at work would find out that, she has a business, and it's because of her business she's not doing her work. So I was even...
You were extra.
I was extra. I was early, I stayed late, I did what I had to do to get the work done. And like I said, I enjoyed my job, so that wasn't a problem for me. But I don't know why I had this fear of being caught. Not that it was illegal or it had anything to do with my business, but I just didn't want a situation where I would ever have to choose, or someone would tell me, we see you're doing this, maybe that should be your focus. I wanted to do a great job at work, and then I also wanted to build this business. So as I was growing my 9 to 5, I just made sure that my 9 to 5 hours were dedicated to my work, and then after work, my 5 to 9 were dedicated to my business. So time management was key. I did take advantage of my lunch breaks to run my business.
How did you do that? What do you do exactly?
So, for instance, I would, like I told you, I did have a cell phone dedicated to my my business. So I would check voicemail. I would return calls at that time. I would do deliveries at that time. So
during your lunch break?
During my lunch break. I have a flexible lunch schedule, so it could be, anywhere between 12 to 2, I could take a break, like, a 1 hour break, whatever time in between. So I posted on my website that those were the hours that I could deliver, and then also from 6 to 8. So my time was really tightly managed, because again, at the time I was an online bakery, doing all the deliveries. People couldn't come to me because I didn't have a physical location. I had to go out and deliver the cupcakes. So
overwhelmed at the beginning of the business?
I don't think I was overwhelmed. I was really hungry because to see it grow. So whatever I could do to grow the business, I would do. And I did start out online, but then I figured out a way, because sometimes people want to see the product as well.
Right.
So I formed relationships with coffee shops where I would offer them the opportunity to sell my cupcakes, but also be a point for people to pick up. Because sometimes people, they wouldn't want to pay for it unless they saw it.
Yeah.
So I had relationships with coffee shops in the area where they sold my products. Oh, they did. So I sold it to them at a cheaper rate.
Okay.
And actually, I was so hungry then. I said, whatever you don't sell, you don't have to pay for. So it was no risk to them. So basically, I would take my cupcakes there, and if they sold, say, I'd take 24 cupcakes. If they sell 12, fine, they pay for the 12 they sold. The other 12 they don't sell, they give it back to me, and then I do whatever with it, donated, whatever. But it was at no risk to them, so they couldn't really tell me no. Like, why wouldn't you want free products?
Free money also.
Exactly, it was additional income for them. So I found a way to make it work, because at the time, like I said, I was hungry to really grow it.
So, because my next question was, in the midst of so many other cupcake business, what made you feel like you could stand out?
I was very flexible. Another way I grew was this same attitude that I had with the coffee shops. I had with people that had events. I would say, come and try my cupcakes. If you don't like it, then you don't have to pay for it. But taste it first and see if you want to use it for your event. Yes, I was really hungry, but I had a limit. Okay. You couldn't taste you could taste just a certain amount, and I'll deliver it to them. So it was at no risk to them. They're at your house, they're trying to decide which company should I use, and somebody's bringing it to you to your house to taste, and you don't have to pay for it. Like, if you like it, let's go ahead and sign the contract. If you don't like it, and then for the most part, I would get that business because I was willing to work for it. And if they said, you need to change this, or can you add this, I would do it. Whereas a lot of big companies, you can't really change their recipes.
Yeah, it's probably stuck on stone.
Right.
Did you have any personal characteristic that you feel had kept you or has made you successful?
I'd say that I'm a very driven person. Once I commit to something, I like to see it through. I can be very persistent when it comes to getting business. There are people out there that will be getting phone calls from me. I haven't seen you in a while. Is there something we can do for you?
Right.
Just putting myself out there. I think that that has helped. Like I said, just being driven, goal oriented. Every month I have a number in my head that we have to make, and if we're not close, we have to do it. We can't miss our marks.
Were you afraid when you started? Did you experience a little fear?
I mean, there's always that fear. For instance, I wasn't. I wouldn't say I'm a natural. Like I baked all throughout my childhood or anything. I didn't go to culinary school, so I had those insecurities. Going in, am I good enough? So that's the fear that held me back. Whether I would disappoint people, the fact that I may not be good enough, or where am I coming from to say I want to bake when these people have been baking since they were, knee high. So a lot of that turned into fear.
And how did you overcome those?
Well, I had people in my corner telling me, like my sister, like I said, she said, you can do it, you can sell it. People that were there to push me on. And also, there's this thing that we say, the person that's doing so well doesn't have two heads. So why can't I? So
shout out to Nigerian parents.
Thank you. If there's someone doing something really well, you can do it too. That person doesn't have, it's just a reminder that we're all human beings. They started from somewhere, and I can do it too. Yeah. Consistent, and also you have to look at some of the small wins you've had. So for instance, if I tell myself, look, this person has done business with me, this other person can do business with me because I've proven to the first person that I did a good job, so I can go for it. Just also going back and looking at your previous wins and saying, I am that person that did that. Why can't I do it in this scenario?
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Just being appreciative of the small wins that you have, because that's overcoming one fear and say, okay, I was afraid of putting my business out there, and then I put myself out there, and someone ate my cake, and they loved it.
Oh yeah.
Why can't I tell them, hey, do you have anybody else, maybe friends, family, sisters, that you can refer me to?
Yeah. And that's it. That's key, is getting referrals, asking people. For instance, my thing is corporate business. I love it. That's how I got my start. And I always ask, is there anyone else in your industry? Is there anyone, like even if it's a big company, is there another department, a contact in another department that you think would
need my services?
Would need my services. I have this lovely lady that would give me a ton of business, and she was leaving her job. And I was like, man, for the past 5 years, she's been awesome to me, giving me so much business. And I asked her when she was leaving, like, who within your company are you turning over your responsibilities to? Can I get a few contacts there? Because she did she wore a lot of hats, so I figured that it wouldn't be one person doing her job, but it could be a couple of people. So she turned over that information to me, and guess what? I'm contacting them and letting them know who I am, and I'll be happy to stop by and let them taste my products. Even though they've been ordering for me for I'll be happy to bring my products and show you what we do, and that's how
Do you think you being a face of your business has been a plus?
I just hate to be the face. If I could turn it over to someone else, because I'm not the most outgoing person, but so far so good. But that's an area where honestly I've had to come out of my comfort zone, and I'm not sure I'm doing the best job at it. But I just try, because I'm like, first of all, who are you? Where are you from? What are you saying?
You say, well, what kind of cake are you saying?
So,
well, hey, it's I guess a lot of business, but about stepping out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Did you make any business mistakes when you started?
The biggest was, so when I started out, I got this opportunity to get a temporary lease at a mall. And a temporary lease means that you're paying lower rent and as a tenant at a mall or wherever, in the hopes that they don't get a permanent tenant that's interested in that space. So for instance, where I got at the mall, it had been open for 2 years. It had been vacant for 2 years. No one seemed to be interested. So I went in there, made a deal with them, and then I poured everything into that space, into a temporary lease.
Which happened?
So that was very risky.
Yeah,
because but then they kind of did assure me that nobody was interested, blah blah blah. But still, the fact is, I wouldn't do that today. For instance, the space didn't have any plumbing. I had to dig up. I spent a lot of money, and then within a year, they found a permanent tenant for the space, and I had to leave.
Wow.
Within 30 days, I had to leave. And when I think about it now, I think that sure, I would. It was an opportunity. It was a great opportunity. A lot of people know my name because I was there at that space. But I wouldn't have spent as much money. I mean, I would have looked for other ways of getting in there. That didn't have to do with, so basically all that money I said I was putting aside to buy my purse or whatever, that's the money that went in there. Like all the money I had went into that space to make it really nice and really lovely. It was a lovely space, but it was temporary. So now I wouldn't make that kind of mistake again, So that's one. Two is when it comes to I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes with staffing, not hiring the right people that their personality didn't really gel with the mission of my company. For instance, not people that weren't friendly. And this is a business where you have to be so I would get emails from customers, I came to your shop expecting this and I got that.
Oh, wow.
And so I realized it all fell on me, I wasn't making the right choices when it came to who I was hiring. You can't teach people. One thing I learned, you can't teach anyone to be friendly. If someone comes, you cannot. Like, I can teach you how to bake, I can teach you everything. But if you're not if you don't like people and if you're not outgoing, there's very little I can do. So that to me, I learned it the hard way through people complaining, and that's a bad way to learn to make a mistake.
But you were able to use that to at least make better choices.
Oh yeah. So now when I'm looking at people, I'm looking at their personality. It doesn't honestly, like I said, you can teach skill, but when it comes to how do they relate to other people, that I actually bring people in now to test with me for a half day. In that half day, I promise you there's something that's going to happen that will show your personality, and that's kind of how I make my decisions now. I don't off the cuff make that decision.
Yeah.
I bring you in, we work together, and then
make a decision. What about the third thing?
The third thing I would say is just personally for me not being open to not taking responsibility for a lot of things that happen. So just over the course, that's just a personality trait. So if anything happens, I find it to be first. But now I've learned, that I have to sit back, reflect, and see how I could have done better in any situation. Because honestly, I used to be quick to say, oh, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. But what did I do? How did I enable that behavior?
Right.
Or what did I do wrong that made that happen? So, I'm learning on my own as well.
You're definitely giving us some serious business lessons here. Things that I'm telling you, things that we should avoid. And it's really, really powerful. Especially the lessons that the mistakes that you made in the past.
Right.
It's about having to save money, about trying to grow steadily.
Right, and not too fast.
Yeah.
Because that was really going from here there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a gradual move.
Yeah, grow steadily, getting the right people, and also taking responsibilities for your business as well.
Yeah.
For someone who also has a 9 to 5 and has a side business, what advice would you give that person?
So I would say you have to schedule everything. As hard as it is, you just have to have a schedule for your business, for your 9 to 5, for your family life, and also just put everything on a schedule. So for instance, if you're dedicating the hours of 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. to your business, make it happen. Don't get on social media and get lost, because that's time you've wasted that you could have spent on your business. And also make time for family. That's really important. I feel like when I was doing that might have been something that suffered a little bit, was my family life. Yes, because it was okay, 9 to 5, and then everything else was business. And if I can fit my family in between, I would. But then I realized that, I need to have time. So I had to, as hard as it was, Sunday became family day. It's hard when you're running a 9 to 5 and then you want to dedicate, it's almost impossible because of course I might respond to emails, but I wouldn't actually say.
Unconsciously you're thinking about your business, about what's starting the next day, and clients that are waiting, and you're not actually being present. You're present, but you're not present.
You're present, but you're not present. You have your phone all the time, and that kind of was frustrating for people around me in my personal life. You're always on your phone. We're talking to you, but you're texting. So just make sure you make time for everything, and your business time definitely. Your lunch breaks. You might have the whole 5 hours there. If you're commuting by bus or train or whatever, you have additional time. Wherever you can get some time from your business, spend that time, but then also don't forget your personal life as well.
So time management, based on what you're saying, is really key, because now we're in an era where a lot of people want to have their own business, they want to be entrepreneurs, but they also want that 9 to 5 because of that safety net where they can have some form of income, and people can actually do both at the same time. But if we really look at our time,
Yeah.
we realize that we actually have time.
We do.
That we throw away, but we don't know that we're throwing that away, right?
You might have to give up a television show. You might have to be on Facebook, but you'll find time. You'll find time.
Yeah.
If you want to, and you have to do the work. It's not by magic. People that are really doing it and grinding, and then you're liking their stuff, they're doing the work. So you need to do the work for yourself.
We're liking, and then we go back to our home and we're like, oh, we don't have time.
Right. That was the time.
Did you ever get to a stage where you wanted to give up?
If you talk to my friends, they will say all the time. Something will happen and it's like, oh, But you know what? In my heart, I love what I do. It makes me so happy. It makes other people happy. There's so many times I've wanted to give up. The fact that it's not consistent. I promise you, it's not consistent. You have to deal with it. Sometimes you will do really well and some months, but you have to learn your business. You have to say, oh, you know what, if it's not busy now, what are things I can be doing to work on that busy period? For instance, there's a period between January and leading up to Valentine's Day that can be slow. But guess what? You can plan on that next period, making it a success. Just dealing with the ups and downs.
So, when you hear the word fear,
yes.
This Women Doing Afraid or Spotlight series, what comes to your mind? What is fear to you?
Fear to me is this wall, invisible wall, mental wall between me and whatever it is that I want to achieve. It's just the excuses I give myself for not doing what I feel like I should do, or sometimes the barrier between where I am and where I want to be. It's fear. Sometimes it's nothing other than this things that I'm telling myself, reasons I'm giving myself why I can't be where I need to be.
And what fears have you had to deal with, and how did you conquer them?
Well, again, like I mentioned, the fact that I'm not classically trained or trained professional, trained in a culinary institution, that is, makes me afraid of the fact that compared to others I may not be good enough. So there's that fear. There's the fear of disappointing people. I don't ever want to take someone's money and then they're disappointed in the product, or they think it's a waste of their money. So there's that. There's a lot, and to conquer it, I just strive to be better. I ask for feedback. I look at the feedback that people are giving me, as hard as it is. I used to hate going on Yelp and seeing my reviews, but then I decided that that's a learning tool.
Absolutely.
I actually want to look at the bad reviews
to
see what they're saying and see how I can improve myself. I did have a fear of bad reviews, and now it's like, bring it on. Let me see what I can do better next time. Whatever it is, I'll try and make it better. I'll try and improve myself.
Yeah, I'm glad you said about the bad reviews. It's nobody likes to hear anything bad about themselves or their business or something they put in their sweat into. But really, a lot of people are quick to give bad reviews, but they're not quick to give good reviews. I don't know, even myself, when I buy something and it's bad, I don't like it.
I hear you.
But it's bad, I'm like, everybody has to know about this.
Exactly. So,
but those bad reviews is really something that we can take as business owners to like, how can I serve people better?
Yeah, to me that's exactly what I use it for. How can I serve people better? And where are the gaps? I might even look at my competitors' bad reviews and see how I can be better in what I'm doing, so that I don't have that. I don't make
issue later.
Yeah, I don't make those mistakes.
Is there anything that you are afraid of now?
There is. So, for instance, there's something for me, sometimes when I procrastinate, I'm like, why haven't I done this thing that I was supposed to have done since October? There's something I was supposed to have done since last year, before the holidays.
Wow.
I still haven't done it. And I keep telling myself, pushing the deadline, and I had to ask myself, why am I not doing it?
Yeah.
And the reason is because it's going to expose me to a larger audience, and I'm afraid that people are going to be critical of me, and I have to deal with that before I push through. So there's stuff like that.
But what are you doing to manage that, to overcome that?
Well, so I've given myself another deadline, but then this time I have someone that's going to hold me accountable to it, and I'm going to do it. Like, I've done the work, And it's just like basically literally sending off the paperwork.
And that's it.
And that's it. But I'm just afraid that as soon as I open myself up, you know, these
will come for
will
him.
come on.
But with the thing that would be surprised, it would probably be the opposite.
It probably, you know what, I always kill myself with that first, and then I do it, and then I think to myself, why didn't I do it earlier?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm pretty glad that you're being honest, you know, because, and that's something we want to stay within that comfort zone, like I keep saying, you know, because we hear the good reviews, we want to hear we want our friends to always validate us, you know, we're human beings here, who doesn't want to be validated, you know, but at the end of the day, if you want to get in there, you have to swim away from the shore.
Absolutely.
You have to go deep and in and get ready, and you swim.
I think so. I mean, it's not anything I haven't done before. It's just on a bigger scale, and I'm just worried, you know, that it's not going to go well.
But guess what? If you hadn't conquered the smaller scale, you probably would not have the stage for the bigger one.
Right.
You know, so like you say, appreciating our little victories. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we can't wait to hear the great news, to see you on the global stage, to see you on our TVs. Like, that's where she is. What advice have you been given, or what's the best advice you have been given?
So, you know, there's this lady that I go to once in a while just to talk about business or whatever.
Yeah.
And she always says, you have it, you already have it, like you are enough. She's what she says is that you're enough. But I always feel like I have to tap into that, you know, the fact that I'm enough, you know. So yes, I may not have this, or I may not, you know, for someone starting out, you may not have the funds, but you already have it within you what you need to succeed. So that to me, when I think about her and I think about her words, that you're enough, you know, you already have it within you. I try to tap into that from time to time.
So I guess for the woman who is struggling to start out, just you are enough. It's to be able to prepare her to take the next step.
Oh yeah, you already have whatever it is within you.
Because there are so many excuses of, you know, and there's excuses are valid. You know, maybe I don't have money, or I don't know who to meet. I don't know my target audience, or you know, the space is saturated. You know? But to be honest, your story is really, really inspiring, because just from your base, from your kitchen, you know, giving it to your friends, sisters, and putting yourself out there. And here we are.
Just, you know, and I think that comes into play when at the lowest point, you know, when you're really down and you're like, you know, for instance, I'll give an example. So we're here, we're set up, and then one day, you know, all this work we do, and we sell 4 cupcakes. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have like so many that we baked. And then it was like, what do I do now? It's not working. Foot traffic here is not the best. But what else can I offer? Well, I have this space. I can teach people. So I started doing classes. So even if something is not working out the way you expect it to, there might be something else that you can do within you. Like, you don't even have to look outside. Within you that you can offer. You know, you can, you know, I don't know, you can YouTube class, you know, your skill. You can get a following that way. There are things that we can do. Sometimes things don't work out perfectly as planned. You know, you just keep doing it, but then also within you keep developing other
skills, right?
Other skills, other areas. Branch out, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have the space, you can teach, you can
host events. So I started doing all that. So it was like, okay now, so if I sell 4 cupcakes in one day, that's fine,
right?
Because at the end of the day, what I do is, okay, we'll donate it or whatever. We will never lose, because people are still going to eat it. The word is still going to spread.
And people write reviews.
Of course. Yeah, so that's fine. But you know what? We'll still make our income other ways. Yeah.
And when you wake up in the morning, how do you set up yourself for success? What are the things you do?
You know, my mind space is very critical. I don't like to plug up. You know, I don't like to have. I like, you know, positive. Why am I losing this word? Affirmations, exactly, which you're so good at on your. I love your Instagram feed for that, because if you don't find it anywhere, I know you'll find it, or people will find it on your feed. So just positive affirmations, what my beliefs are, as I'm getting ready for the day, and also like I always tell people, as in my mind is plugged in a really positive space, what I listen to, what I surround myself with, and I don't know, there's something in my head that's always like I have some cheerleaders in there, you know, right? Things like
Let's cheer yourself up, right?
I do, so that when I come in, even some days that, you know, I know they're going to be difficult for one reason or another, you know, just setting myself up by, you know, reaffirming that it's going to be a great day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe like one woman, but you have a whole band, right?
Yes, I have.
You're moving to some invisible beat, right?
Oh, yeah, I have to.
That's your own music. Because hey, you know, if you don't motivate yourself, you know, who's gonna people can motivate you and inspire you. It's awesome. There's a level to which they can really push you to.
Oh yeah.
You have to push yourself through the rest of the way.
Absolutely.
You know. Okay, so if you could go back to like 10 years from now, is there anything you would have done differently?
Financial discipline
Okay.
would be one of them.
So financial discipline.
From the get-go.
In the beginning, right? And save, and literally putting the profit back into the business.
Yes, and I would tell you this, you know, that's kind of the way we've been operating, but I would even be more stringent because, for instance, we have zero debt. Like I told my customers, like this one, when she came, maybe we had one chair, and I came back with the two chairs. You know, just grow steadily, but then at the same time. Just because you know the economy goes up and down, you just want to be ready for the.
You just kind of like you just slipped in something now about you have zero debt. In this economy, in this place, world where we feel like you have to borrow to start up a business and borrow to sustain. How do you have zero debt?
Well, like I saved everything starting from my home. You know. I didn't go overboard with anything, and as the business makes money, I reinvest in the business. I mean, you can tell that this is a homegrown business. I think a couple of years ago, this space wasn't furnished, you know. So it's as we make money, we grow. Like you can look at some pictures online. Maybe we just had one table and chair over here and nothing else in the rest of the space, but we've grown. I mean, I had my mixer from home when I moved into my commercial kitchen, but everything, you know, just buy what I need for the business.
Buy what you need, know what you want.
Know what you want, no.
Buy what you need. Any project or plans you have ahead of you? Because like I always say for every video, I like to ask these questions, but whenever you guys do the logo, I'm like, it was said here first.
Right,
you know? I think like you've already mentioned one, quote unquote, we don't know what that is yet. But any project plan that you have in the future, what's the future of Lennox Cupcakes?
Well, the future of Lennox Cupcakes is continue to grow steadily, continue to make people happy, do what we're doing, and hopefully, you know, I would love to see more locations, but like I said, you know, we grow at a pace that we can manage. So I would love that. I would love that, absolutely.
And what advice would you give to the woman who's doing it afraid?
I would say, you know, fill your space with people, with positive people. So, for instance, you know, don't, if people around you are negative about what your plans are, there's no need to share that kind of, you know, there's no need to spend time with them talking about your plans if they're only going to knock it down each time. You know, get information specific to your industry. Look at other people that have done it. I guess, you know, they don't have two heads. They did it. Just get up and do it if you can. You know, just get up and make it happen. You don't have to have a ton of money. See, there are ways that you can do things and make things happen. Go to seminars. You know, fill your space with positive affirmations. And don't give up just because, you know, you have a fear. Just keep working on it. You know, if you can, you know, journal. I find that, you know, writing my dreams down on paper really helps motivate me. So that might be something you could do as well.
I wish I would have would be, at what point in time do you know that you had to make your business your business?
So basically, I got laid off from my job 2 years after I started my business. So my business was going full speed, and then I got laid off, and it was like, well, what else am I going to do? You know, I could get another job, or I could spend, you know, I could put all my resources into something that I've been building for the past 2 years and see where it goes. So I took that chance. It was done for me easily, because if not, I really don't know if I would have had, you know, the strength to leave, or because I loved my job, or, you know, so it was as a matter of necessity. I went into it full time after I got laid off.
From then, it's been a full-blown.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and that tells me that, you know, the people that are afraid that they may not be able to do it, you can do it. Wow. If you have no other choice, like there's no other way for you to eat, but this how you're feeding yourself, you will do it. I mean, if this is how you're going to pay your bills, I promise you, you're not going to let your children go hungry.
You know, that's the perfect way for us to end this interview, because if you think about it, that is the only way you have to feed your kids.
Oh yeah.
Or pay your bills.
Oh yeah.
You put everything to
you will.
And I think we're kind of like always half and half. I'm going to try this because we know that we can fall back into something, right?
If you have no other options,
then
you have to make it work. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Thank you again.
Thank you.
For this opportunity to come to speak, a beautiful place of work. And for the tips.
Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. And the tips that you've given me and giving the audience. So I really hope that you have learned. I've learned more than 1, 2, 3 things, you know, from Marianne. I'm hoping as well that if you have that business by the side, just put all your energy into it. You can do it regardless of how many amazing other competitors you have out there. You know, save, grow steadily, have positive people in your corner. And even if you're afraid, that's fine. You know, fear is not just for the weak or the vulnerable people. Fear means there's something, there's an area of growth that you're about to enter into. Just conquer that fear and always appreciate your wins as you go along the journey of building your business. Just being an amazing person in general. All right, awesome. And I'm going to put all the information as well. So please follow her on the social media platforms. If you're in Atlanta, definitely stop by and get yourself some cupcakes. So till next time, continue to live life intentionally. Bye.
Bye.